Hello, and welcome to Your Daily Balance, Idaho Central Credit Union's video podcast, where we're here to bring you tips and tricks to helping you on your way to achieving financial success. And today we get to talk about one of my most favorite events of the year, Idaho Gives.
Yeah, we're excited to be here. Thanks for having us.
Well, and I'd love to introduce you for starters. So Kevin Bailey, what's your role at the Idaho Nonprofit Center?
I'm the CEO at the Idaho Nonprofit Center. So we are the statewide nonprofit that runs the statewide giving campaign called Idaho Gives. This is now its 12th year in operation. It's grown quite a bit. I'm sure we'll talk about that. But yeah, it's exciting.
Yes. And so you've been with the Idaho Nonprofit Center since 2021.
Yes, almost 3 years. This is my third Idaho Gives through it. So I feel like I sort of know what's going on now.
Yes. That's awesome. Well, and Idaho Central has been a sponsor of Idaho Gives since the very beginning. And it's something that I've had a chance to engage with over the years. And it's just one of my favorite days. And for so many reasons, we're going to get into all of that. But first of all, do you want to just say a little bit about what Idaho Gives and when it is this year?
Yeah, so it's April 29th to May 2nd, and it's our annual giving campaign. It used to be just a 24-hour giving campaign. The first year of COVID, it went to a full 2 weeks. That was too long to sustain. So I think we've settled on 4 days. So April 29th to May 2nd. It's really a time to rally Idahoans around causes they care about and to get people involved in giving time, talent, and treasure, again, to their local communities. We always like to say Idaho runs on nonprofits. So whether it's the arts, conservation, meals to seniors, healthcare, basically all the things that help our communities thrive, nonprofits are at the heart of that. So Idaho Gives is a chance for Idahoans to give back and to contribute to those things that make their communities really great places to live.
Yeah. One of the things I love the most about Idaho Gives is that people are exposed to a lot of nonprofits that they maybe never knew about.
Yeah. Actually, I like to use my mom as an example. So she is in the process of moving to Idaho. She's a retired public school teacher, special ed, K through 5, 40 plus years in public school education in the Midwest where I grew up. And she's moving to Idaho. Last year during Idaho Gives, she's trying to get involved with something that she can volunteer at. So she starts searching for causes around special ed. She finds Game Changers Idaho. She just gives $10. She starts getting their newsletter, starts to get kind of more involved, goes to a day-long volunteer training to get certified. This is a group that brings children with disabilities and without disabilities onto the same playing field for sports to teach empathy. Just a great example of nonprofits filling needs where they exist. And now she's like a full volunteer with their organization and a donor and someone who they would have never come in contact with without Idaho Gives. So my mom is like the Idaho Gives example.
She's the success case.
Finding her cause.
Yes, absolutely. And that's something interesting too. Over the last few years, as my kids have gotten older, each year I tell them to pick a nonprofit and we start having conversations and looking into things that they're passionate about or that they care about. And then they get to choose where to give a small donation each year too. So it's a great way to kind of teach your kids and teach others in your family. Yeah,
that next generation of community engagement and donors and civic engagement. We did that last year with my kids and just gave them $10, 5 different organizations.
Yep.
Like most of them ended up being animals because they were like, I see this on TV. How I like the Wild Kratts show. How can I give to Zoo Pocatello, Zoo Boise, whatever.
Yeah.
So, it's fun. Yeah. Fun way for kids to get involved.
Yeah.
For sure.
And it all adds up. That's the cool thing. So you're talking about sometimes $10 is the minimum donation, I think. But how much money has Idaho Gives raised over the years?
So $23.6 million over the last 11 years. So we'll cross the $25 million mark this year, hopefully on day one, might be day 2. And so we'll hit that $25 million mark. I can't remember what's the anniversary with 25. We need like copper or silver or something.
Whatever it is, we'll be celebrating.
Yeah, so that's a really exciting milestone. And, last year, 13,000 donors participated, 600 plus nonprofits. So it really is pretty much not every county, because some counties don't even have a nonprofit in them, but almost every county in the state is represented.
Will you say those numbers one more time? How many donors?
Yeah, 13,000 donors, 600 plus nonprofits.
Wow.
Last year raised just under 4 million, 3.86 million.
Wow.
To those groups, yeah.
And this year maybe we'll hit 4 million.
I hope so. That's the goal.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Just that little bit more, and everybody can make a big difference.
Exactly.
So do you have any things you can share about what those nonprofits are doing in our communities? And I love that you're kind of talking about, this is Idaho Gives. This is every county in Idaho, every nonprofit all over the place. But can you give some ideas or some stories about what?
Yeah. So last year, Idaho Trails Association, they used their Idaho Gives campaign to restore 15 miles of lost trails.
Wow.
In central Idaho in the wilderness area. And so that's, funds that they needed to do that trail restoration work. There's a group called Giraffe Laugh in the Boise area that's really focused on expanding childcare access to working families, and they have a 200 child waiting list, and we're able to open up food pantries because of at their locations because of Idaho Gives. So it's, every issue is touched. It's Idaho Gives really does support those nonprofits who need that little extra boost to provide that next resource for their clients, or that next section of trail to open, or that next concert performance. And a lot of these are small rural communities too, where there's not necessarily there's not a lot of government funds flowing in. There's not a lot of, large foundation funds flowing in. So it really does depend on Idahoans, giving even $10 makes a huge difference. And that's what it's about.
Yeah. I think that's my favorite thing about Idaho Gives is just that all these nonprofits have such an opportunity to take advantage of it. And there's even prize pool money and ways for them to even get bigger gifts those days.
Absolutely,
too. Yeah.
We try to use the prize money as incentives to those nonprofits to participate in some best practices, like 100% board giving. So nonprofits that participate in Idaho Gives, if they have every board member, let's say all 10 board members give during Idaho Gives, they get entered in and they can win whatever the prize money is, $1,000, let's say. We have a donation prize that's kind of a fun one, furthest donation by bank record from Idaho, usually somewhere in Southeast Asia. So if you have any friends, across oceans that are connected to Idaho in some way, encouraging them to give during Idaho Gives. So there's a prize for that. This year, a new one, Alaska Airlines has some airline tickets that will actually be awarded to a new donor. So organizations that identify a new donor through Idaho Gives, which is a big reason why Idaho Gives was started, is to bring in those new donors and to build that awareness. So yeah, the prize money is great. I think it's north of $30,000 this year in prize money.
That are just like extra little gifts on top of the other giving.
So it just adds to the campaign total for those organizations and also makes giving fun. So there's a peer-to-peer prize. There's lots of different options there.
What's your favorite thing about Idaho Gives?
I think just the diversity of causes and missions, and one of the reasons I love Idaho and why we moved our family to Idaho was access to the outdoors. So I love all of that work going on. But I've been in social services, basically human services, nonprofits most of my career. Former educator as well, so education, the stuff that groups like United Ways are doing. I think these are all super valuable. It's what makes our communities go. Without nonprofits, I'm lucky I get to stand on the soapbox and sort of preach that message that
year round.
Idaho runs on nonprofits, and Idaho Gives is a part of that. And so I just get to tell people's stories. It's easy for me, but the real work is those organizations, the 600 plus participating that are recruiting their donors to participate, finding new donors, and we're just the platform to do that.
And all of these nonprofits really work together on this week or 4 days, but they work together and there's events that are going on and all kinds of things.
All of the bigger towns and cities have events going on, so there's collaboration happening there. There's opportunities for the public to engage. On our idahogives.org website, there's a list of events that's starting to populate 2 weeks out now, so those will start to show up, and general public, families, kids, they can get involved and show up in almost every community.
Okay, and now to the meat of it. How do people give during Idaho Gives?
Yeah, so it's really easy. Just go to idahogives.org. If you already know which nonprofit you want to give to, you can just type in the search box, whatever that nonprofit's name is. If you're not sure and you're kind of looking for a cause, like my mom was, you can search by region. You can search by cause, and a drop-down list of 30 different causes will show up, and you can search by leaderboard. So if you're wanting to help maybe an underdog organization or a really small organization, that's at the bottom of the list. You can search by large orgs, medium orgs, small orgs. So it's really diversified in that way, and people can find what they're looking for. So you have 600 plus choices.
And we've just seen such a success with this over the years. So it's been so great to be a part of it. And thank you to your organization for all you do to make a difference in all of Idaho through these nonprofits.
Yeah, thanks to ICCU for being the presenting sponsor. It really could not happen without that support. And we just thank you and your team members, and encourage your neighbors, your friends to get involved.
Well, thank you so much. It is absolutely our pleasure. So thanks, Kevin. Thank you for coming today.
Thanks, Laura.
And don't forget to subscribe to our channel to be notified of future episodes. We will see you next time.